I've been teaching IELTS for 16 plus years. Let me see if I can work with ChatGPT in helping me learn IELTS in an effective manner. So I'm going to go ahead and say, give me an IELTS task 2 question writing. Okay, first we'll get the question, see if that's accurate, then we'll get into the answer. Okay, we're working on it. So we believe that working from home benefits employees and employers, while others think it creates more problems. Discuss both views. Perfect. Question type is perfect. Give me an 8-band answer to this. All right. Before that, I'm going to get my document ready here because this is where we're going to analyze this. So we would need the word count. And let's see what the response is like. In recent years, okay, we start here. I'm going to copy this whole text. Looks like we're doing 5 paragraphs, okay? First, I want to see the word limit. Ideal word limit, guys, is 280-ish. That's usually the best place, 270 to 280. Right here, you see 349 words. You cannot see it on the screen, but it's 349. That is a lot. The moment you're over 300, you're risking losing marks. Everything over 300 has to be relevant, which is usually not the case. That's why you have this requirement of staying between 250 to 300. The moment you start writing more than that, you're mostly repeating information or showing your inability to summarize information. Okay, that's the first big red flag. Now, when I see this from the first glance, I do notice the intro is too long, and conclusion, that could be made smaller too. I did again get a little surprised with a body 3, which is also very long, because body 3 is okay. But if your body 1 and 2 are this long, so many words, you have to avoid body 3. So let's say if I just remove that, we're at 292 words. Much better, okay? But we'll see what's going on here really. Obviously, it's ChatGPT, so you cannot expect any grammar mistakes. I don't think we'll see that. Vocab would be good too, but vocab is not just advanced words. It should be a range of vocab, so complex sentences and different phrasing, low frequency words that should be used here. So we start with, in recent years, working from home has become increasingly common. This is so common. This kind of start, or saying something like whatever has been a topic of hot debate, or whatever has both pros and cons. This is a very, very memorized template, and you can see ChatGPT picks up stuff online from different templates. If you use this, it is a very basic start, nothing fancy, bad first impression. Let's start with the next one. While some people argue that this arrangement, what I like about this is you're starting with while, which is a complex sentence. So while da-da-da and then da-da-da. There's 2 clauses always, and that is a good way to give a complex sentence at the start. While some people argue that this arrangement is advantageous for both workers and businesses, others believe it causes significant difficulties. When we're talking about access words, this is one of the reasons. Why do we have this? It is rephrasing the question. So you can do that, but you either do this or the first general sentence. Ideally, you want to combine them both in a small sentence, not do 2 general sentences. So this is eating up too many words, and you're rephrasing the question in too many words. If the question is, let's see the actual question. Some people believe that working from home benefits these, others think it creates more problems. So what I would do is something like the question of remote work. So I wouldn't say the same thing. I would say the question of remote work and its pros is surely one that begs the question of whether it delivers overall. That's it. So I would really rephrase it in my own words. This whole thing that is so wordy is useless. You're just using up too many words, and except for while, which makes it a complex sentence, except for that, I don't see anything that is giving you superior vocab marks. Okay. Although remote work can reduce operating costs and provide employees with greater flexibility, I believe that it is most effective when combined with regular office attendance. Okay, so the question again was, some people believe that this working from home benefits people, while others think it creates more of the problems. Wow. Okay, I actually wasn't expecting this big of a mistake. This looks like it's gonna be. I was gonna show the pros and cons of ChatGPT, but this right here is a huge mistake. I have to criticize this. The good thing is you're saying I believe. You have to give your opinion. That's fine. Another good thing is you have although, which is gonna make it a complex sentence. Right now it's an overkill though. You have a complex sentence here, you have one here, you should only have one ideally. So generally it's a good idea, but right now it's not because you have this and this. Two complex sentences in one intro, it's too much. But then the biggest problem, I can't believe it did that, is it's saying, I believe that it's most effective when combined with regular office attendance. It is giving you a third option, which you should never do. You should not come up with your own solutions. The question is not asking you what are the problems and solutions. It is saying discuss both sides. So you pick a side. You have to say, well, either remote work is great and it benefits everybody, or it's terrible and it should all be office work. There is no in between when combined. Let me just make sure I'm reading this correct. While others think it creates more problem. Yeah, there's no mention of combining anything. This is a huge, huge mistake. Very huge mistake. Okay, well, now I want to see if the conclusion is rephrasing the intro, because that's what you're supposed to do. This is very, very basic. In conclusion, to conclude, in conclusion, everybody uses that. You should instead be saying conclusively, overall, unique words. Working from home can benefit employees and employers by saving time, reducing expenses, and improving concentration. However, it may also lead to isolation and communication difficulties. Therefore, I believe that a hybrid working arrangement offers the greatest benefit. Okay, one thing is you are rephrasing the intro. That's what you're supposed to do. So that is done nicely. The problem is the intro itself was highly flawed. You cannot give a solution. That's another problem. So that's one thing. And again, it's too wordy. Saying all these things, you don't need to invent a list. Conclusion is all about wrapping up your opinions. So it should be much shorter and you can conserve words there too. Now, we already know this is messy, but let's assume that it's okay. Like we are going to go with this idea. Okay, combined workspace, office work and remote work. We're doing a hybrid. Let's assume that's okay. Let's see how we're doing in the body paragraphs. On the one hand, on the other hand, Jesus, it's everybody uses these words. Please do not use them. They're very, very basic. I would say to begin with, and here I would say if I'm just doing the opposite, I would say nevertheless, nonetheless, on the other hand, in contrast, okay? On the one hand, working from home offers several important benefits. Employees, okay, this is a good topic sentence. Fine, that's okay. No advanced words, but fine. It's not giving too many details. It's giving the topic, which is good. Employees can avoid lengthy commutes, allowing them time to save both time and money. This additional time may be used for family responsibilities, exercise, or rest, which can improve the overall quality of life. Okay, what is the main point here? You can save time, and that can improve the quality of life. Okay, fine. Employers can also benefit financially because they may require less office space and spend less on electricity and other facilities. Fine. This is benefit number 2. Okay. Furthermore, employees who work in a quiet home environment may be productive because they experience fewer workplace interruptions. For example, a software developer may complete complex tasks more effectively at home than in a busy office. How? You have to explain. You did say there's going to be fewer interruptions, but then here you want to mention again how. You can't just say random sentences like these. But you are not doing it because you know this is too long. This body is too long. And the reason it's so long is because you should have just ended this here. When you're doing the discuss both sides question, you should only give, not only in this type of question, in any question type, in any body, you should only have a maximum of 2 points, never more than 2 points, because then this issue happens. You have so much quantity and none of the points have been elaborated nicely. The second point you can see was rushed, one sentence, no detailed explanation. This sentence was okay, but the second one had no explanation, and you don't need it. Just remove this whole point and focus on the first 2 points. Among them, the first point was nice. The first point went into a process, right? Like you can save time. When you save time, you will have time for other things that will improve your quality of life. That's how you're supposed to elaborate a point. That was not done in the other 2 points. So major mistake here is what? You have 3 points, you should just have 2 and elaborate them nicely. On the other hand, remote working can create problems related to communication, collaboration, and employee well-being. Okay, so this is the topic sentence. Online meetings are useful, but they cannot always replace the spontaneous discussions and face-to-face interactions. This can make it more difficult for colleagues to exchange ideas, resolve misunderstandings, and build strong. This is another thing that ChatGPT does a lot. With anytime you ask it to correct your sample or give you sample answers, it gives you a list. And IELTS does not want a list. It wants you to focus on one point and just elaborate that. So if I'm saying that online meetings, they cannot spontaneous and it's too many things, let's focus on one thing. Let's say there's the tone effect. Okay, so I would say something like online meetings are useful. However, in terms of when there are times of conflict, it will be hard to get a resolution online. Face-to-face, with gestures, with tone, and with other people jumping in times of conflict, teamwork can really shine, which is completely absent when you're not seeing each other face-to-face online, especially on audio calls. This central concept is the conflicts that can be resolved, and they cannot be done online. They can only be done face-to-face. I would just focus on this one thing and not give you a list. So this point is too much, too many things. IELTS will not appreciate that list. But you can say so far, it's 1 point. Sure, kind of like many small points within that 1 point, which is a problem, but sure, it's 1 point. In addition, some employees, I don't like the connectors, like they're so basic. In addition, on the other hand, you have so many advanced choices, like furthermore, on top of that, what's worse, accordingly, surprisingly, interestingly, to add to that, you got to use better connectors. Some employees may feel isolated when they spend most of their working day alone. There's also a risk that the boundary between work and okay, this is 1 point, this is another point. Once again, you're doing 3 points. Again, it's an issue. You should only have 2 points per body. Okay, and you know why this is something you have to do now? Because you did 3 points in body 1. So it's discuss both sides. You have to balance it by doing 3 points in body 2. So the mistake happened from body 1. Keep it 2, and you would not have this problem. Okay, now I don't know why we have this. You have already given me 6 points. You don't need a body 3. Let's see what's happening here. In my opinion, neither fully remote work nor compulsory daily office attendance is ideal for every organization. A hybrid system, okay, I don't want to even read this. This is the most irrelevant topic because we're giving our own solution, which is never asked, or it's just gonna make you lose marks. Simply, you don't offer your own solution. The question never said give your own third solution. Okay, so wasting time, wasting words, and it's just gonna destroy your task response. One thing you might be noticing here is, in my opinion, and you might find it odd, but this is actually okay. With discuss both sides and give your opinion, you can do your opinion another time in the body paragraphs when you want to remind the examiner this is your opinion and then give both sides. It does happen in body 3, but that's when you're doing it nicely. You have small bodies 1 and 2, and then you have room for body 3 with more descriptions to give. That's another thing, but doing this is not actually wrong. Overall, this writing, in terms of grammar, would be perfect. In terms of vocab, would be above average. It's not very fancy because some of these words are just too common. We see them every time, so not too advanced. In terms of task response and structure because structure, coherence, flow is getting lost with our incorrect thesis statement. And then your word limit and all these things combined, this writing would score nowhere close to an 8 band. I would give this a maximum of 6 bands. That's what this would get when I entered a prompt asking ChatGPT to give me an 8 band answer. Guys, this is the problem with AI marking, and it has really improved over the last few years. However, when it comes to test prep exams, it still falters. So always be careful, make sure you're getting the right advice, right guidance. And if you want more guidance like this, make sure to like, subscribe, and share this video with someone who is preparing for the exam and not taking the right advice. Make sure to do that. It'll help others too. Thank you so much. See you next time.